3 matches in, 3 to go here at week 3, day 3. My name is Frodan. I'm joined by TJ.
Yo.
And we have coming up next, Strifeco versus Frozen. Strifeco on the Warrior, Frozen on the Warrior. And we got a couple of series that's going to be like that. Hope you guys are packed in and rearing to go.
Settle in, boot up some Hearthstone yourself, get some snacks, some beverages, maybe some tissues.
Yes, because it might be a long one.
It's going to be a tearjerker.
Okay, I don't know how to respond to the tissue comment here. TJ.
No, because it's going to make us sick.
I agree. Let's take
Any
a look
way
at
you want to interpret it. Sorry, Dan.
I'm afraid to start talking, so you just take it here, TJ.
Yeah, so this one is very interesting because for what seems like the first time in a long time, both players in their primary deck have the Archivist Elysiana. So we could be in for a game. Now, one thing I do want to note...
We are in for a game.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about a game, Dan. I'm talking about a game. We could be in for a game of Hearthstone. Emphasis on game. Now, the one thing I would note
you
is
sound
that
like the announcer in like the Smash Bros. Like game. 3,
what was
2, 1. Right? Isn't that what they say?
game.
Maybe we should have that. The innkeeper just announced that the game's over instead of a concede like a and it's like they all die and explode. Just TJ, your face peers in a bubble, goes
Game.
like that. It would add some finality to Hearthstone.
Well,
There's already trumpets and rain clouds and explosions and fireworks.
I hope you guys got to see the deck list because we didn't talk about them.
If you guys want a preview of what the casting of a Warrior versus Warrior is going to be like, it is that times infinity and beyond. Strifeco, his secondary and tertiary deck with the Frothing Berserker Big Game Hunter Super Collider. That's the more interesting one to me. I wonder how Frothing Berserkers plays if he wants to be more aggressive. But I have to imagine that his Cairn Bloodhoof, his Grommash Hellscream, and his Ysera is going to be the tertiary deck of choice, while Frozen has the Cairn, but the Azalina that's similar to Dog with the Seaphorium Bombers.
Yeah.
So
Now,
so Frozen's going to be more resource and pressure oriented, and Strifeco has like just more late game inevitability.
yeah, and I think in games 2 and potentially 3, if there is one, that's when we're going to be seeing a little bit more fireworks, right? A little bit more minion on minion action.
Right.
Game 1 is the one where both players have kind of their anti-other class techs. So it goes a little bit slower. Like they can't play as pressure oriented. So this is this game 1 where things could be a little bit slower. If there was a potential for Archivist Elysiana to matter, it is in this game 1. And both players have it, so we're not in this weird situation like we've been in other Warrior Mirrors where one player's the aggressor because they don't have Elysiana, and the other player has inevitability because they do. So it's kind of exciting. Now, one thing that I was about to talk about in the opening is Strifeco has double weapon removal. He has Weapons Project and Harrison Jones. 2 Weapons Project and Harrison Jones. So maybe a slight advantage in that department, but Frozen has Accolade of Pain, which honestly card draw is not that bad of a thing in this matchup because you do want to hit your power cards sooner because oftentimes it does come down to pressure. So a couple little key differences in that regard that might shape the way this game plays out. Strifeco can shut down the Wrench Calibers, but Frozen can draw deeper into his deck to find his power cards earlier.
Well, he doesn't even want to draw early on with the Town Crier that he had on 1, instead opting out of that. And Frozen does have the Militia Commander waiting, so Frozen playing a Augmented Alec here is just going to get rushed down and defended. So then maybe Strifeco instead wants to do nothing, and then here's a little tricky thing. Does he want to play Dynamatic into his opponent's Acolyte? It's food for thought. Really makes you think.
I would say no.
We live in a society He's not gonna do anything.
Dan, yes, we do live in a society. Some would say the world we live in is a society, or has societies.
I don't disagree.
Some would say we live in a world.
Oh, new one. Have you seen Aladdin yet?
Not the new one.
Actually,
Have you seen Aladdin yet? Yes, Dan. It came out in the 90s.
I don't know. You seem to have struggled with a lot of your childhood, playing NASCAR video games.
That wasn't a struggle. That was pure enjoyment. Have you ever sat in front of a TV and raced a car around a circular track for 3 hours?
I have.
It is exhilarating.
Yes.
Now do that 4 times a day for like a month and a half straight.
I'm not knocking racing. I think racing's pretty sweet. I think that it's just when you describe it as like the pinnacle of your childhood gaming experience.
Not the pinnacle. Of
You
my
said it's like
childhood.
your most played game.
It's
or
like my
second most played game.
Actually, I think I would bump it all the way down to like 4th.
So you lied.
No, I said it was 3rd earlier. I said Hearthstone and World of Warcraft take precedent over it. I actually think like Civilization might take 3rd. Maybe even Ragnarok Online might take 3rd.
Gotcha. All solid stuff, TJ.
I'm a gamer.
Gamers rise up. Strifegrove is going to shuffle 2 bombs into Frozen's deck and grab a little bit of that board. I think, Strifegrove could go for that very cheeky Dynamatic, make my opponent draw more. The only reason why we suggest that is if they want to go into the long game Archivist Elysiana battles, but I don't think that's the relevance. The more we watch the Warrior matchup, the more it really dictated by who can get ahead on the board. That said, Frozen is a player with his deck list that seems to prioritize the more defensive play.
Whoa.
The more passive play.
Whoa.
He does like to armor up a lot, and I think that's something that's somewhat of a lost art. Something that Admiral was telling me. He's like, it feels like a lot of Warrior players forgot how to armor up. Not that they don't know where the hero power button is, or they don't know what it does. It's just more like it's a game plan. It's a macro game plan that it feels like they're not exactly sure of because they're so used to being able to fight for tempo at any point that they want to once they get Dr. Boom at Genius.
Yeah.
And they lose that hero power, so it becomes like this thing that they constantly budget for.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's important for the armor count is if Frozen can climb so far ahead, he nullifies the bomb advantages, and then as the game, if he's able to stay even in the fatigue count, he has a massive advantage. So that is one form of, that's one line of thinking which I think has a lot of merit to it. Safeguard the immediate play here to shut down the 1-2, Boom Reaver for maximum tempo. I think those are the 2 main choices to consider. This isn't really a minion you want to Militia Commander, and I think Frozen wants to save his Clockwork Goblins.
Or at least his Augmented Elec.
Sorry, yeah, I meant to save the Clockwork Goblin with the Augmented Elec.
Yeah. Because efficiency of bombs is pretty key. And also having all of your bombs like kind of sprinkled in to like a string of 5 or 6 turns.
Yeah.
Is a really big deal because it allows you to capitalize on tempo that you're gaining.
It's true.
So let's say you go for Augmented Elec Clockwork Goblin earlier and your bombs are sprinkled in over the course of 10 turns. Then you don't have an option to try and capitalize on tempo, or at least the timing of you being able to capitalize on bombs is off, right? You can't, you can more accurately predict if you shuffle them all in kind of a shorter window.
It's true. Strifegrove going for the board dunk, slamming down his Dynamatic and clearing the board, and that's going to be the name of the game here. This is a much better target for removal with the Militia Commander that Frozen has. Also, with the Wrench Caliber, means that he can set up the Augmented Elec, Wrench Caliber, or wait for the Clockwork Goblin to join the party. Clockwork Goblin, Wrench Caliber, Augmented Elec on 10 mana, shuffle 4 bombs into your opponent's deck. Seems good.
Yeah, yeah. Seems like he does want to wait to that turn. The problem with it is it makes this turn awkward. Because he has a nice zap for the Dynamatic.
Yep. I think, but he's at 9 cards, so he can just wait.
He could just wait. Absolutely.
You know what is a lost art, TJ? Waiting.
I think we've mastered it.
Well played. Well played, TJ. You are a worthy opponent. People are like, did it happen? They sat the casters? Does my mute button finally work?
Unfortunately not, dear Twitch viewer.
There, well, your mute button hopefully does work. So, Strifecrow, with this weapons project, needs to dump a card in his hand, right? He has a bunch of removal. Kaboom wasn't a really great thing. It's interesting that he's willing to dig in with the shield block. He doesn't really care too much about being behind the fatigue that much. And now Frozen gets the Clockwork Goblin. And I think I'd want to just throw in the Wrench Caliber here too, but he doesn't have enough mana anymore because he went for the Delivery Drone.
Delivery Drone's hard to pass up. Also, just the damage from the Weapons Project weapon is hard to pass up.
It's true. 6 damage does compensate for 1 bomb that you lose to the Wrench Caliber.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's net 1 damage. Boom Reaver right back.
Defend the gates.
This game's gonna start to get real hot.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice and back and forth. It's an arms race, so to speak. A cold war of whatever bombs they can set up and how much board doms that they can get. This is a very nice dynamatic opportunity.
How much life they can gain.
Yeah, Frozen firmly ahead of that right now. He's at 62, his opponent's at 43. Having a nice 20+ life lead here. Means Strifecrow is a few cards deeper in fatigue already. But based off the deck size, there's like a couple bombs shuffled in on both sides too. So yeah. Strifecrow is actually very far ahead in terms of how he is to draw cards in his deck.
Yep.
Strifecrow. Trying to see what's the best way to order this. Maybe he wants to swing with his weapon first to guarantee his Boombot will kill the Dynamatic and deal 1 to 4 damage to his opponent. You can squeeze in that hero power as well. The reason why you might want to keep his main Boombots on board is just for board presence, but the weapon swing can be useful later on too. Keeping the weapon means that Strifecrow probably wants to play the Boom Reaver next turn because he wants to spend his mana efficiently as opposed to just use like another weapons project or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it kind of like how Rogue wants to play with their daggers. They like often don't swing even if they can because they don't want to have to spend the mana to use dagger in case they need it.
Yeah. Now he has this weapon to maybe swing into something next turn. Ooh, another Clockwork Goblin and Beryllium Nullifier. Those are 2 very high-value mechs. Galvanizer also, because he has a Boom Reaver and a Zilliax over there to the left.
Yeah, I think the Galvanizer here might be one of the unsung heroes of Frozen's hand because it might help him squeeze in plays that are otherwise impossible.
Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Can also use it to kind of soak some bombs with Kaboom.
It's true. I mean, at this point, Frozen can even just use the hero power, not have to trade in. Yep, I like it. Bomb defused. No shield block from Frozen. He likes the lead that he has in the fatigue. Strifecrow, is he playing the Boom Reaver in this position? Seemed like that's what he was setting up for, given that he didn't have other good proactive plans.
He just saw a Shield Slam, so...
Yeah, but with your opponent having Omega Assembly played and a Galvanizer with Dr. Boom, Mad Genius already have been
Okay,
set
then.
up. It just means like Boom Reaver isn't going to most likely survive.
Yeah.
But you do set up the tempo beforehand. So maybe Strifeco can play Boom Reaver. Hopefully one of those minions stick. And then he can keep using Omega Devastator to keep pushing damage.
Theoretically, that should give him the tempo lead and allow him to start pushing damage.
Right, and then he has good reloads. Once he uses all of his mechs, he has Omega Assemblies. Plus, he might pick up more through a delivery drone.
Yeah.
Augmentella is going to click Clockwork Goblin here too. Okay. And Microbots.
Nice pressure plan as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a Boom Reaver in terms of its stats by itself, but it still puts the 2 bombs in. And we are approaching that point where if the players go a couple bombs. Frozen really draws his bombs 2 by 2, huh?
Failure is an option.
Defend the gates!
Should I purchase emo?
Yeah, he emoted the oops emote.
Did he miss something?
Maybe he's like being very cheeky, like, oops, you drew 2 bombs. That's a misplay on your side. But that's like a joke that players have, like, oh, you should have just not drawn bombs.
That's a funny joke. One thing to note is the longer
Oh my gosh.
the longer he waits to play bombs, the harder it becomes for them to have an impact. Because both players have Elysiana. So there's a couple things you can do with that. You can either wait and shuffle them in at the end when you have tempo to put your opponent in a weird position where they want to play Elysiana to get rid of their bombs, but they also can't because you have too much damage on board.
Right. That's definitely a thing to consider, is that if you shuffle bombs later into the game, you give them the easy Elysiana decision.
Yeah.
If you shuffle it with like 12 cards remaining, it's like a tough spot for them to be in because they don't want to do it too early.
Yeah. Also, by shuffling them in late, you can also force them to play Elysiana early, which means that if they play Elysiana before you do, then you have that fatigue advantage. So a couple benefits of holding on to... Ooh!
Oh, mama! Blastmaster Boom. That's a lot of statistics on the board.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any merit there to trading with the Boom Reaver instead to protect against Dynomatic.
It's fair.
Save the best for last.
I think with Omega Devastators,
Well, Beryllium Nullifier as well, you want to keep your mech healthy because you want to magnetize onto it.
right.
With Beryllium Nullifier Ziliax, if Boom Reaver lived and he's just like, sweet, you killed everything but my Boom Reaver, here's a Ziliax, here's a Beryllium Nullifier, you have to take a 50-50 brawl or you lose.
It's a good point. Beryllium Nullifier and Ziliax is a very threatening minion. Another Boom Reaver. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go through these. Goes with another board clear. Last time learned a little bit from the War Gear. Boom Reaver can't really pull the Ziliax anymore from the deck.
This is such a weird matchup. Both players just have full hands of
Yeah.
straight up gas.
This is kind of the Warrior match I think people expected when they first hear Warrior vs. Warrior, when like neither player has an opportunity to be
Okay,
really
then.
aggressive. They just choose to go into a resource count war. And it's like just trading one thing. Ideally, you just try to trade more than 1 for 1. So you collect slow value over time, aka a traditional control matchup. And both these players really like that kind of scenario. I
This
think
would
Frozen's
be
more of a
good
combo
time for
player,
a
Strifeco's more of a
master
control
plan.
player.
Save the best for last.
Still doesn't mean that Frozen doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to the control scenarios.
Wow.
1 bomb left.
Yeah, I think 1 bomb left. Showing all his bombs early. Kind of bad because that means he doesn't have an opportunity to play Elysiana to get rid of some bombs. Not the greatest options from Delivery Drone here.
The Spark engine is a easy clear, I guess, onto his opponent's board.
Yeah, he already has the rushing Explodinator.
It's fair.
He may feel like he wants to pick up something bigger.
Okay,
So the
then.
Stegatron.
Or Dynamatic, because then he can attach like Beryllium Nullifier onto it. I don't know.
Well, the Beryllium Nullifier setup is Clockwork Goblin, Beryllium Nullifier, Ziliax.
Yeah.
That's his best 3-card combo.
Oh, I love that fuse thing.
At least from the
This would be
hand.
a good
If he does
time
something
for a
else,
master plan.
it's different. Sorry. If he does something else,
Then
and stick Mick on the
different.
board, then it's different.
If he does something different, then it's different. Someone said.
Agreed. One more bomb being shuffled in.
I think that makes 3 in Stripecrow's deck. I don't know, my bomb counting has been terrible today, Dan. I have a bunch of scribbled out tally marks on my paper here. I'm losing my mind.
We'll make it, man. We got this. I'm kind of wondering when Strife was going to go for his Boom Reaver. This Weapons Project shut down the Wrench Caliber makes sense. Trying to stop how many bombs that can come in through here.
Yep.
Strifego is still 2 cards deeper than Frozen, I believe, because he has 3 bombs. And he drew a Town Cry, with a Town Crier and a Shield block.
Stripecrow has a health lead, so maybe he feels like the initiative is Frozen's, and he's the one that should react to it. But Stripecrow also does have kind of a resource lead because he has double Omega Assembly. It's just about how much time and how many cards he can get rid of to try and play that.
Right, and he still has the Elysiana versus the bombs in this deck remaining dynamic, which is pretty tricky back and forth. Warpath.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
hard to
it makes
expend.
sense. Yeah, it's he has the 2 of them. He doesn't have easy ways to utilize it for removal. Frozen was hoping that it would stick, and then he could attach maybe the Beryllium Nullifier into it.
This might be a bomb turn for Frozen. Still hasn't drawn Blastmaster Boom. With an empty board, he could go for that giant Beryllium Nullifier play.
4 more bombs possible with the Augmented Elic.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be also saving it for the post-Elysiana phase because he's anticipating that if he shovels too many bombs in, he's giving Strifecrow an opportunity to play Elysiana.
Magic neutralized.
Just jamming it out there.
Another Clockwork Goblin. That's enough to play the Augmented Elic, Clockwork Goblin, Clockwork Goblin, Clockwork Goblin. Because one got disconnected, or discounted, excuse me. Okay, Frozen's not super greedy. I mean, I'd be super greedy in that spot.
Oh mon dieu.
Sacre bleu. Strifecrow has that Boom Reaver that he's been waiting for a while. Pulls out a Dynomatic, pretty reasonable. He has a full board code. Beryllium Nullifier, not super powerful against the Omega Devastator, against the every mech has rush game plan, so totally understandable to expend that.
Frozen might even be saving all of his bombs until post Elysiana.
Yeah, I think that game plan makes sense if you get this far into the game, because you're not sure if your bunch is going to wipe all the bombs like we were talking about. 2 bombs being drawn for Strifecrow. 3 bombs. 1 more bomb remaining.
For both players. And the life totals equalized all of a sudden.
Yeah,
This would be
when
a
they're
good
fairly
time for
similar
a
in terms of
master plan.
the bombs, it then tends to become pretty similar with the life totals. The big difference maker is the fatigue counts of how much they've drawn into their decks. Strifecrow going for the shield slam. I guess he doesn't really find a better use of it. How many bombs is he going to shuffle in? Is he going to wait for one more? Is he going to attack now?
Knows there's no weapon removal, so can feel comfortable with just Wrench Caliber pass.
And then Frozen, does he even have to play anything? Maybe he just waits. Oh wait, but he wants his Blastmaster Boom.
He does want Blastmaster Boom.
That's too important of a card to leave behind.
No boom left behind.
So that's a campaign I can get behind.
All right,
Let's go with the pass.
so we've reached this point in the matchup where they're both out of giant stuff.
Until they pick up more giant stuff. Strifecrow's been saving his Omega assemblies, though. That's one thing that I feel like I've seen Strifecrow do a lot, which is like he's really good at conserving what he needs until the very, very, very end.
It's like just a-
Dynamatic. Okay. It's the most amount of board presence that he can get without having to commit too much. He needs to play a card. Another Omega Devastator here for Strifecrow. Maybe this is an opportunity for him to drop the Harrison. Stop, like he doesn't really want to draw too many more cards, right?
Yeah, he could also just ditch Warpath here.
Yeah, Warpath is very viable option as
This
well.
would be a good time for a master plan.
So then what does Frozen want to do in retaliation? I guess he just waits. Right now, what's going to happen is the next 2 turns, Frozen's going to wait for Strifecrow to play the Elysiana. Then he can strike back with his Clockwork Goblins right back because Strifecrow doesn't have a bounce for the Elysiana.
And then he can play his Blastmaster Boom that he's been waiting for and clearing space in his hand for.
If he ever finds it.
If he ever finds it. And all these cards are high value. He might even play Warpath again for nothing. I guess he can equip Wrench Caliber because Strifecrow probably doesn't want to play Harrison Jones because he just draw the rest of Fatigue and be forced into a spot where he has
This
to
would be a
Elysiana.
good time for a master plan.
And not even going to attack with it, so forcing the full draw if Strifecrow wanted to eliminate it. I don't know if you can afford to go 3 cards behind in Fatigue in this matchup.
Yeah, if you play the Harrison Jones, you're also overdrawing in this position, so you need to play something else.
Which you don't really want to.
What if Strifecrow doesn't do anything? He just passes.
Is there any cards left in his deck that are super high value?
The most important thing was Elysiana. He's played his
story
Blastmaster.
deserves
Oh, he's just going for it right now.
All right, let's see. Gorehowl.
Gorehowl is a very hard card to play. That's the only criticism against it. Weapons proc.
Ugh,
Steel Rager, Belligerent Gnome.
those are all just disgusting.
Well,
Oh, I love that fuse.
oh my
Dr.
goodness.
Brumat Genius.
I mean,
Not that good, actually.
it's good. It's like armor gain, but it doesn't really do that much.
Oh.
Mashog Enforcer is just big, beefy stats.
Or the Mashog Announcer is... Ooh, Wrench Caliber. All right, I'm going to need to see what he chose. Gorehowl, Steel Rager, Pumpkin Peasant, Mashog Enforcer, and Wrench Caliber. So 4 weapons out of the 10 cards shuffled in. And now it's time for Frozen to go with the bombs. This is what he's been waiting for. Shuffles 4 bombs in. Shuffles 6 bombs in. Shield slams the Elysiana. This is what Frozen's been holding on to these bomb cards all game.
Yeah.
He's been throwing away cards, even like Beryllium Nullifier, which can like end games by itself sometimes. He's just been throwing them out there to get cards out of his hand to make sure that Strifecrow plays Elysiana first, and then he can just go in with 6 bombs at a time. Even save the Wrench Caliber to the point where if Strifecrow Harrisoned, then he would not only overdraw cards, but he would go into fatigue and be forced to play Elysiana first.
Yeah, and that's a little bit of the punishment that StrifeCro has for not dealing with the Wrench Caliber, but at the same time he draws deeper into fatigue, which is still a problem. He knows with one bomb being shuffled in, if Frozen's most likely going to Elysiana right back next turn.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Blastmaster Boom before Elysiana.
It's also fair. I think I like the Blastmaster
This
Boom
would be
better.
a good time for a master plan.
But you could see what Frozen's game plan was. And could pay off, because now StrifeCro, out of the 14 cards he has left in his deck, 5 of them are bombs.
If you anticipate that, you want to drop the best minion on board preemptively. Still an opportunity to go for the Clockwork Goblin. One of the bombs being drawn. StrifeCro wants more bombs drawn.
I'm almost out of cards.
Okay, Frozen picks up Super
Yeah.
Glider.
I believe that last card's a bomb. Geppetto Joy Buzz is... Okay, Wrench Caliber.
Wrench Caliber with Captain Greenskin is really interesting.
Beryllium Nullifier. Another Beryllium Nullifier?
What? Yeah.
Festaroot Hulk? Moral Strike's also good.
Mortal Strike seems really powerful
Yeah.
here.
All right, let's take a look at this one. Mortal Strike, double Beryllium Nullifier, Wrench Caliber, Geppetto Joy Buzz. So Geppetto Joy Buzz is weird because it draws 1 mana Beryllium Nullifiers.
I think he just wants 6/6.
A 6/6, yeah. All right, 2 bombs drawn.
And all of a sudden that armor,
Oh, 3 bombs drawn.
that StrifeCro is racking up,
Oh, I thought that
all
was a bomb.
gone, so his Shield Slam is not easily used here.
Yeah, has Omega Devastator. And honestly, that's kind of bad for Frozen because he had 5 bombs in the deck before that turn. Now he only has 2. So his Blastmaster Boom isn't even fully loaded. That's kind of unfortunate considering 14 cards left in deck, 5 bombs. 3 in a row is very
then.
unlikely.
Yeah, trying to figure out StrifeCro's predicament here and how he can pull himself out. I think Omega Devastator comes down. I think he Hero Powers. I think you want to swing with the weapon too here. Oh, he doesn't Hero Power. He wants to get instead the most amount of life with Ziliax. That does make sense.
And also, oh, Clockwork Goblin. So now he has, since he also picked Wrench Caliber from his Elysiana, he also has a lot of bombs left. So now both players have 2 bombs in their deck.
That
Oh no,
line
that's
steal-
only 1 because he destroyed him last turn. So only 1 bomb left for StrifeCro, or for Frozen in Frozen's deck. 2 bombs left in StrifeCro's deck, 1 bomb left in Frozen's deck.
Frozen has the Super Collider and he has the Blastmaster Boom.
Ooh, Boom Reaver. Because he has Geppetto and Beryllium Nullifiers. It is, what the heck? He drew 4 bombs in the last 3 turns. Where did the last bomb come from? Oh, the last swing of the Wrench Caliber last turn. Okay. Look at this paper, Dan. Look at it. Can you read this?
Every time Frozen trades, the Boom Bot goes face and he has to trade and restore the health. This ended up not doing the damage I looked for, but got good pickups on the end there. 4 damage, 3 damage to the face. Sorry, TJ, I was too enthralled by what was going on.
So he's had the second swing of Wrench Caliber, so he had 7 bombs from the get-go, then drew 4, then had 3 bombs left. So now there's 3 bombs. This is exhausting.
I don't think it's. I think what's important is the damage that's going on. I don't think the bomb count here is going
It's
to.
important for like Super in the end when
Yeah, at the very end.
it's like, oh, 50-50 to draw a bomb, but then we realize both cards are bombs, and then it's like a bummer, you know?
StrifeCro drawing. Fearless.
He wants to find Wrench Caliber, I think. Also, he wanted to find a way to kill Dr. Blastmaster Boom, which is pretty important.
It's harvest time.
Frozen has the Boom Reaver that can pull out Geppetto, Joy Buzz, or Beryllium Nullifier. Those are both very good.
A much higher likelihood to hit Beryllium because he had 4 in the deck when he shuffles.
Oh man.
He's gonna play Super Collider.
Interesting.
Saying, I dare you to Harrison Jones.
Right.
I double dog dare you.
Also, it just like helps answer whatever Strife Crow is going to set up because he still has Brawl, Zilliax, Kaboom. But he's giving Strife Crow an opportunity to seize the board again. Weaponized Pinata.
Ooh, Beryllium Nullifier also reasonable. Now he has 2 of his own. Resources are pretty even, with Strife Crow even having a slight edge. Frozen has the life advantage because he has less bombs in his deck currently, but that's going to change soon.
Does he play the Weaponized Pinata, or does he just hold on? Does he hold on to 10 cards to hope that he doesn't get a bomb?
Yeah, but he could discard a Wrench Caliber.
It's less likely he discards a Wrench Caliber than he discards a bomb.
That's true. There's 3 bombs left.
Somebody order a bomb.
3 bombs left in the Wrench Tips.
Despair. Destruction.
Looks like the Nullifier comes out. This is bad news for Strife Crow. He's got a handful of heavy minions. Another bomb being drawn. Yeah, see, this is one of my biggest criticisms against Gorehell. It's so hard and clunky to use, and you're just limited by the amount of mana that you have.
It is 7 damage though, Dan.
7 damage, you're
For
right.
7 mana, that's so efficient.
But he hasn't been swinging. Oh, you're being facetious.
It's not that efficient. It's on par with Pyroblast.
Yeah, but it's efficient in terms of the amount of cards you have to use to get 7 damage.
Yeah.
Master Zarek.
Yeah. He can actually shield slam it to resummon it.
Flawless. All right, Frozen. Initiative's back on you, buddy, and he is very far ahead of the fatigue count. I think he can ride this momentum wave for a while. And
He does have a lot of bombs in his deck.
The one thing that I really like about the way Frozen's played this is how he's held up to Zilliax for the longest time. He has a decisive life swing available. I like that a lot. Now Strife Crow. When you're looking at a hand this expensive, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get all of this out of my hand? Nightmare Amalgam plus Beryllium Nullifier.
He can't even kill this Beryllium Nullified Microbot. And Frozen's just gonna heal up next turn. Geppetto Joy Buzz, not that great, but to be honest, I don't even know if Strife Crow can handle this board. His only way to handle it is to Nightmare Amalgam and Gore Howl it. Then he doesn't zap, he takes 4, so he goes down to 18. Gets to keep Gore Howl.
Ooh. All this just stings, you know. It's hard for Frozen, or it's hard for Strife Crow to feel like
another one.
Investment of his damage and life.
Neutralized.
And now Frozen just keeps the pressure on.
Just nullifier after nullifier. Strife Crow slowly getting pushed out of this game.
Uh-oh.
Oh! I think that was the last one. Yeah, that was the last one.
What does he even do in this spot?
Dies.
I mean, he survives still by his mind, in his mind, if he just removes this 4/9.
I think, yeah. He can also play Mashog Enforcer. Buy himself a little bit of time, perhaps.
Yeah, the only thing is that the Beryllium Nullifier doesn't have any way to get taunt without the Zilliax.
knows that's happening.
Yeah, I think he has to dump some of his more expensive cards here.
Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Tough spot, to say the least.
Magic neutralized.
If Frozen hits 4 bombs in a row here, he has lethal. Or 3 bombs in a row here, he has lethal. He is lethal anyway. Wrench Caliber, Mortal
Yeah.
Strike, Ziliax.
To wrap it up.
Whatever you want, he's got. And a couple of key turns there for Frozen. Throwing away a lot of cards that could get value in the late game to make sure that he doesn't play Ziliax, he doesn't play Clockwork Goblins, he doesn't play Augmented Elix. He purposely waited until post-Elysiana to shuffle all the bombs in. Because then he knows with Elysiana, you don't get to choose your cards. So it's hard to find tempo tools. So if you're constantly worried about your life total, you have to make suboptimal plays on the board. And realizing that and shuffling a critical mass of bombs towards the end of the game allowed Frozen to take the dub.
Yep, and he finishes the game with a 1-0 lead. And I think it's important just to understand, like, what are the core keys to this game? If you were to break down the Warrior into 1 or 2 sentence summary, it comes down to, are you able to deal with the bomb damage? If so, how do you deal in the late game fatigue scenario with Elysiana? And Frozen answers it by saying, I'm not going to only wait to deal the damage in big bursts after Elysiana, but I'm also going to have the rebound ready with the Ziliax that he didn't even need.
Yeah.
Frozen was in a bigger lead than it might even seem because of the fatigue count, and I love the way he conserved his resources.
Yeah.
With a 1-0 lead, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have StrifeCo look to equalize against Frozen. Otherwise, Frozen takes the series 2-0.
Dalaran will be ours. Once we land, you know what to do. No, we don't. You didn't tell us to play it. I didn't think I had to. It's perfectly obvious. Bank! I am to be robbing the bank! I take henchmen for vault smashing and shiny stealing! Plan is obvious! It's a start, yes, but...
You won't get a single coin unless you take care of the city's guards. Let's rip open Violet Hole and unleash the prisoners on the city. That'll keep the guards busy.
Certainly, but that's not...
No! First, we must sow chaos in the streets.
I got rockets. Anyone need rockets? Try to see the big picture. Chinese,
We have to break their will before we can loot, you fools!
Please, everyone, please. Let's drop some rockets to the city.
Oh, big candle.
And then we just take the whole shebang wherever we want. Yes! Finally, you're exactly right.
Seriously?
That's dumb.
Ah, weak candle. Just wait till second gear kicks in. Yes! It's just like I said. We're going to take Dalaran for all that it's got. It's a genius plan. It's simple. It should have been obvious. And absolutely nothing will go wrong.
So, genius, how do we land?
My name is Christos Sakopoulos. My username comes from when I was a kid. I used to go to like an internet cafe with my friends to play like, I remember WoW and stuff like that. And I just had to make a character one day, and one of my friends said, your plays are phenomenal, so you can just put the name Phenomenal there. And I just did it, and then it just stuck. The thing that's unique about my playstyle, I feel, is that I sometimes think about stupid plays that other people would never even consider, and I try to get something out of it. I think people don't pay attention to details like trading or going face. I really pay attention to those things because I think it's super important. Like even one bad trade can cost you the game a lot of times. My favorite memory was definitely when I won my first Hearthstone tournament last year in HCT Orange County. And doing that just gave me so much more confidence and made me feel like I was free again. I'd say being in Grandmasters means that I've made it to the top players of Europe, which has always been my goal. So yeah, I'm looking forward to start competing again.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters. Frozen up 1-0 over StrifeCro. And StrifeCro looking to strike back with his tertiary deck, which has the Kieran Bloodhoof, the Grommash Hellscream, and the Ysera. And then Frozen has Seafoyer Bombers, Kieran Bloodhoof, and Eslian Soldier. What are you giggling about?
Ah, yes. Ysera,
Yeah,
the mightiest of dragons.
the Yeet Sarah. Just give him the Yeet Sarah Awakens.
Almost as powerful as you get a charge.
Yeah, see, your charge is more of a yoink, and your Ysera is more of a yeet. If you think about it.
Yoink. All right, Dan and I are losing our minds.
Strifecrow looks like he starts off with the bad genius as Frozen, which means that it should be a fairly equal early game. If the early game is equalized, it comes down to who can stick a board. Frozen has the Cairn Bloodhoof. Or is it Hoof?
Karen Bloodhoof.
Well, the early game with the Militia Commander, Mega Devastators, I kind of want to see more tempo-oriented plays, but can totally understand, based off their hand, that they might want to just go by the curve and then after Dr. Boom play more defensively.
Yeah.
The hands are just mirrored.
Yeah,
It's Shield Block, Militia Commander, Augmenta Elec, Dr. Boom, Mad Genius, Harrison Jones. Frozen needs to draw Omega Devastator. Oh, okay. Well, it's like if Frozen draws the Omega Devastator,
and then
Strifecrow draws the Cairn, it's like it's literally just a mirror back.
And then he needs to find a way to submit Grom Hellscream in his list, and then draw that too.
Fair enough. It would be the difference of legendaries, right? Grom versus the Cairn here.
Yeah.
Defend the gates!
The pace of play is
Wow. It's like Innkeeper speed.
It's excruciating.
Blistering speeds. It's actually a pretty good draw here for Strifecrow.
An insane draw.
Wow. Strifecrow. Big draw here.
I am going to fill this matchup up with some hyperbole to spice it up a bit. Frozen under a lot of pressure.
I mean, he has the ability to coin out the Cairn.
Coins out the Cairn. 4 power on board. Strifecrow. Gotta find an answer quick.
I mean, Karen versus Gary has just been a long time battle. It's been one of the hardest counters to Warrior for a while. It's just difficult to remove. Think about it. Remember what Firebat was saying on interviews? Like, maybe it's just better to play Twilight Drake against Warrior than it is to play like all these other counter cards. And if you think about it, if you just add the life total of Bane to Cairn, it's like a 410, which is kind of what Twilight Drake wants to do. Obviously, it's not exactly the same one-to-one, but abstractly, they both are resilient 4-attack minions that just repeatedly hit the Warrior.
That's some solid abstract thought there, Dan.
Thank you.
Defend the gates!
That's literally a paradox.
It's 2 mana more expensive.
Yeah, but you get benefits for it. So, for example, it can survive single target removal better.
That's true. Survives a Dinomatic, even a Rush Dinomatic. Even a Dinomatic with the Warrior spell Charge.
What are you even saying anymore, TJ?
I just, the last game tilted me so bad. Look at my piece of paper. This is my mind right now.
A bunch of random.
I'm not even
marks.
keeping track of it in this game. So, viewers, you're on your own.
Well, there's at least 2 bombs being shuffled in by Frozen.
Dan's keeping track of this game. Good luck.
Well, 3 bombs now. I think what's important.
4 bombs.
4 bombs.
See, one mistake and it ruins your whole day.
No, I'm perfectly fine. I like to play Frozen, by the way, to not play Dr. Boom Mad Genius. Strifecrow has the mechs to rush back, but he wants to get the extra bomb investment. Yep. And Seafoyer Bomber, it's a lot of stats. Shield Slam is good, though. Shield Slam. Oh, but Shield Slam doesn't deal with everything. Oh, my. Interesting.
If only he had a Zentimo.
All right, while
This
we're on
would be a
that
good
thought, I
time for a
mean,
master plan.
Strifeco could use a lot of good stuff here, but Zentimo would be pretty sick. Grom Hellscream!
Wow. I mean, that gets easily answered by Ziliax. I wonder if Frozen's going to feel like he can use this here to push the additional 5 damage and gain the tempo. I mean, Strifeco just showed him. He said, hey, Frozen, I'm struggling to deal with this board. And Frozen said, man, that's a shame. How about a bigger board?
Speak to me.
Exactly what he's saying.
Pushes 5 more damage.
Shield Slam here is good, though. It's a 2-for-1.
It is a 2-for-1. However, he killed one of his own minions, so it ended up being a 3-for-2.
Okay. But then there's a bomb shuffled in, so it's like a
3-for-3.
it's like a 3.14192637 to 1. If you think of it.
Some solid abstract thought there, Dan.
I think I failed pi at the 4th number. Shield Slam and the Clockwork Goblin. Something that Strifeco is probably leaning towards soon. Sorry to drag you guys through our inane commentary at this point. But I think the second bomb being shuffled in here for Frozen is not going to be nearly as relevant if Frozen can just grab the tempo from this point. So then he gets a delivery drone, an opportunity to get another mech. Clockwork Goblin, more bombs going to be shuffled into Strifeco's deck. This is starting to become problematic here because 25% of Strifeco's deck are going to be bombed soon. Assuming he picks that and not a Bulldozer just for the raw tempo.
Yeah, Bulldozer's good, but...
Is that just like a Bulldozer with a face on it?
It is.
Not exactly the Power Ranger got the choice of mech, huh? Some people get like some really cool transforming stuff and you just get a Bulldozer.
Get it? It's a bull on a bulldozer.
The lamest of all Power Rangers. Oh, man.
The Tan Ranger.
They're running out of colors, so they just use like beige.
Yeah.
Off-White Ranger.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Security Rover. I guess that's an okay use of it if he wants to trade in here. I think Strifeco's trying to also find like what's a good time to use Ysera, but there's 12 armor on the opposing side. So he'd be taking a 12 damage Shield Slam. I think he has to wait a little bit longer.
The Warpath Kaboom here, though, does develop a very resilient board. One thing that it's, in particular that it's resilient to is Blastmaster Boom.
It's true.
Funnily enough, Frozen has in his hand, which is fully loaded.
All right. Omega Assembly. Ziliax and the Demolisher are okay. Mechathune coming to the hand is not as important as you might think it is.
Well, it's a 10-10 for 10 with Rush. I mean, that's basically all it comes down to. There's like no way this game goes to Mechathune range. You can't get at Mechathune value before you Elysiana because you can't play Elysiana after you after you play Mechathune because then you put more cards in your deck.
Right.
And if you play it before, then you put more cards in your deck. Either way, Dan, you're putting more cards in your deck, no matter which way you slice it.
Well, you know, Frozen, I kind of wonder how much he wants to go into this bomb play. He can shuffle 2 more bombs into Strifeco's deck. Now he's running out of time for the Rush Minions to trade.
Somebody order a bomb.
Frozen opting to go for the draw to Town Crier, get some Militia Commander for the easy trade. Strifeco still has a couple of things left over. Is this the opportunity Strifeco's looking for to drop the Ysera?
Yeah, he misses a blast shield. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think he was trying to just look for the most efficient way to remove the Eternium Rover.
Ooh, there's some good stuff here coming out from Strife Crow.
Oh, yeah.
The Mechanical Whelp is a very powerful minion to just trade and rush into minions because both forms of the Dragon Whelp and the 7/7 that comes out. They're all mechs. They all rush. Very powerful turn here from Strife Crow. Frozen doesn't have the direct answer to that 7/5 right now, but he could use Warpath to clear everything up. I think it's a pretty decent use of Warpath, but he's giving up initiative. And one thing to consider is that as the game continues to develop is if Frozen is unable to seize back the initiative, how is he going to be able to start developing ahead of his opponents?
And judging by how many Omega Devastators in Strife Crow's hand, I don't think Frozen will ever get the initiative.
I mean, this looks like a Blastmaster Boom opportunity.
Yeah. I honestly think the bomb, he's got so many bombs in Strife Crow's deck with the ability to put more.
Oh, it's a good snipe here from Frozen. Bomb drawn.
I mean, he might be looking at lethal, well, not lethal, but like a kill potential, because Strife Crow still has like 5 bombs left in his deck. If these boom bots hit face, or at least a good amount of them do, he's pushing in. There's Ziliax.
Shield Slam. The Replicating Menace actually is a very annoying card for Robot to deal with. The Death Rattle trigger goes before the Replicating Menace does, but he gets all these little microbots. Oh my gosh. 1 damage. Very good there for Strife Crow.
Yeah, diffused the situation quite well.
Is this a Mechathune opportunity for Frozen? I think so. Your opponent just used Shield Slam and just used some their removal to deal with stuff. But at the same time, it is weak to Omega Devastator, so you make it out tempoed.
Okay, then.
Well, from this point, I guess Frozen's just going to take it slow. You know, I was kind of anticipating him to load up the board faster, maybe drop just Harrison on the board, maybe go for the Mechathune. In this case, seems like he still wants to shut down Wrench Caliber with the Harrison. Still looking for opportunities to respond to Strife Crow as opposed to pressure him outright.
What I was about to say was, don't you dare keep on talking. No. I was going to say, don't underestimate Demolisher.
Demolisher is a good visual representation of TJ's brain right now.
It is literally on fire, and at the beginning of my turn will deal 2 damage to a random opponent.
Well, it's just, you know, I think it's just funny visual there. Cairn coming down. But because it's not Garrosh, doesn't say the usual interaction against the warrior class. Kind of a cool little Easter egg. Oh, Demolisher getting in there. Ooh. Mechanical Whelp.
Also Security Rover, both.
Security Rover is pretty good too.
I think Mechanical Whelp is just more beef.
See, now this is one instance where Cairn was better than the Twilight Drake, right? More resilient against the single target removal.
Yeah. Forced out a Shield Slam and a Dynomatic as opposed to just a Shield Slam. Now is the time to drop your Sarah.
I don't think so. I think your opponent has like too many resources. Plus they have like Zap, so it just increases their chances of having like the right response.
Okay, then.
Now we enter a new era. The Omega Devastator Wars. But the thing is, Frozen doesn't have any Omega Devastators himself. You have to fight a lot more normally through the rush minions instead. Another Omega Devastator. What the heck? He just has so many of
That's
them.
his 4th one.
He keeps picking them off of the random discovers.
He only has... Oh, he has 2 in his deck. Okay.
A bomb being drawn. Frozen has bombs that he can shuffle into his opponent's deck here. Delivery drone first. Finds a Security Rover, Vicious Scrap Hound, a Rusty Recycler. Looks like Frozen, once again, conserving the Augmented Elec for the big damage swings towards the end of the game. Remember, without Elysiana, it's going to be difficult for him to remove those bombs. Of course, Frozen doesn't know that because StrifeCro keeps Elysiana in his Karen deck list.
Yeah.
Pain, speak to me.
The Omega Devastator just come down, just shuts down Frozen's ability to develop at all, and that actually nullifies the power of the bombs, which is very annoying. Part of what makes the bombs so scary is that you have to determine if you're like willing to extend to the board and trade, but then you're still like vulnerable to the bombs.
I think there's still a good amount of bombs in StrifeCro's deck.
Man, yeah.
There's another one.
There's a few left. And now Frozen trying to see if he can go for that actual push with the Wrench Caliber. He doesn't want to wait anymore. And StrifeCro's been good about keeping his resource count high, but he's got a lot of bombs in the deck now.
Yeah, and I think Frozen's going to try and make sure that if StrifeCro does play Elysiana, that he's going to be punished by some damage on the backswing.
Right. Alternatively, StrifeCro has the same thing that Frozen has, which is the Ziliax ready to reload. And there's also still an opportunity to drop Blastmaster Boom, but he doesn't have the maximum amount of boom bots. I think if he goes for a Wrench Caliber Omega Devastator play, it's passable. It's because it sets up for the Blastmaster Boom the best.
This would be a good time for a
following turn.
master play. Oh, I love that fuse thing.
Yeah, it's the 4th Omega Devastator. I think this point first like, oh my gosh, how many do you have? It's the last one for now.
Until he finds another one.
Yes, which we inevitably will encounter. Frozen can destroy the weapon through a Harrison Jones on the far left. You can also just go for Mechathune.
Yeah, this is the... I'm going to shove another bomb into your deck. I'm going to develop a big minion. If you play Azalina, you're taking 10. I think there's like 4 bombs left in StrifeCro's deck. Uno.
Clockwork Goblin. Plus the Ziliax.
Yep.
Good heal coming out from StrifeCro. You can shuffle bombs back into Frozen's deck, and it's the same thing.
He might be going for Blastmaster.
Oh, you're right. Blastmaster Boom.
But Clockwork Goblin Ziliax is so clean.
Clockwork Goblin plus Ziliax is very similar in that it's like a big minion that Frozen's to deal with, and he might be taking bomb damage. I think I like the Goblin Ziliax better. And now, Frozen might be in the same spot. If he draws a string of bombs here, he has to deal with either the big minion threat, or he has to deal with the big minion threat and has to worry about his life total. Omega Assembly. Pretty decent mech minions, but nothing too amazing. He can also strike back with his own Ziliax play.
Yeah.
Again, Nightmare Amalgam.
It doesn't give him the health gain, though. Like, StrifeCro got full value out of it because he healed all the way up.
Well, if he played Ziliax yeah, you would deny Strifeco the life gain, so it's kind of offsetting it.
Yeah, true.
That said, Strifeco now back at full life.
Ooh.
Another Clockwork Goblin. Strifeco can go for that Blastmaster Boom that he's been hoping for.
I mean, he might play Elysiana here.
That's true. There might be an opportunity for him to actually play the Elysiana, but then he's letting Frozen get away without playing. Like, he might play Elysiana right back.
Yeah, that's true. He could play Blastmaster Boom here because it's unlikely that Frozen would be able to deal with Blastmaster Boom and then have a big development. And then Strifeco can hope to dodge bombs again and Elysiana afterwards. I think there's like 3 bombs left. I don't know. After last game, I'm just scarred.
Blastmaster Boom. Let's go for the Boom Bots. What you got? Not very high damage onto the minions, or onto the life total, but Strifeco was just trying to go for that board presence instead. Brawl. Just wants to get rid of Dr. Boom Body. Oh! Oh boy, that's bad.
Oh boy. That's really bad.
That's a lot of damage. That was 11 damage right there.
And now he can't kill it, and now Strifeco has more bombs to shuffle in next turn. Frozen has at least 3 bombs in the bottom of his deck. He's taking 7 damage. He can just Ziliax and pass.
Okay, then.
That only happens 1 in 5 times, and that 20%er was what gave Strifeco back a huge lead. That is such a big deal, TJ. Wow, Frozen's so uncomfortable. He's like, oh man, what do I do in this spot now? I don't even know how to get out. I think I lose.
Wow.
Harrison?
Wrench Caliber hit him? I don't know.
If he Wrench Caliber hit him, he's just going to Elysiana right back.
But maybe if he Elysianas, you're happy about it. Strifeco's like, wait, what? He said, my Omega Assemblies get Omega Devastators. Why don't your Omega Assemblies get Omega Devastators?
That's true. Yeah, Mega Devastators have just been very punishing.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a free pass for Archivist Elysiana, or Strifeco could go for the throat and say, Wrench Caliber, Clockwork Goblin, head him. He can start off with Omega Assembly regardless of what he does. Maybe that changes things.
This would be a good time for a
Yeah, I think the Omega Assembly might change his plan. Boom Reaver, okay.
I don't think that changes the plan.
His third alternative is actually to play Ysera, but I think the Archivist does something better than that. But in this case, the Wrench Caliber and the Clockwork Goblin ramping it up. 10 damage, putting Frozen to 13.
I think there's 4 bombs in his deck. Now 5 bombs in his deck. So most of Frozen's cards are bombs. Maybe a potential to hit 3 in a row here. No? Okay. Dodges them all. Now there's a chance for Strifeco to hit a bunch of bombs. Oh, he could go Elec Clockwork Goblin.
Ooh. Yeah, he can go Elec Clockwork Goblin. He doesn't have enough to Ziliax.
Well, he could go Clockwork Goblin, Ziliax, Microbots. That might be better.
This would be
Seems like a full clear. He heals 6 life, goes up to 16.
But then it's like, do you swing with Wrench Caliber to try and get the bomb damage in now, or do you wait because you know that he's going to Archivist Elysiana? He may just go in here fully now. He may just say, I'm going to shuffle 4 bombs into your deck.
Okay, then.
Okay, so Warpath.
So Warpath with Microbots is full clear.
I think he doesn't want to shuffle more bombs until Elysiana.
Right.
Oh, I love that view.
Like, this was his... Okay, I'm wrong.
Well, this is a nice halfway play. It's the same thing, but it doesn't have that Ziliax life gain. It's going for additional bomb. Oh, boy. Oh, 2 bombs in.
4 bombs in.
4 bombs in.
So...
Oh, my God.
1.
Here we go. 2.
2. Oh.
Only 2 bombs.
And now StrifeCrow gets to fight right back. He doesn't have anything magnetic. He has Faithful Luminous just 1, so he doesn't have lethal. But I mean, he's pushing 6. He can push 7. No breakpoint there. Okay, he's gonna Lysiana.
Yeah, he needs to Lysiana, and the Faithful Lumi allows... It's actually very important to have this Faithful Lumi, because he can trade into the Clockwork, or sorry, the Elic without worrying about the bomb.
Much Caliber. Captain Greenskin. Mortal Strike. Straight up damage. Gilne and Royal Guard. And...
Abomination.
Yeah, probably.
Taunt might be really useful here.
Oh, I love that
Faithful Lumi. Clutch, to say the least. Frozen now on a potential double bomb.
There's a lot of bombs in Frozen stack. There's one.
There's 2. StrifeCrow ties it up, 1 game apiece.
Oh.
That big swing off the Brawl and the Dr. Boom surviving.
Yeah.
StrifeCrow's like, oh my gosh, this is so back and forth.
It's so weird that, like, how hard they fight, like, back and forth for board for, like, 20 turns. And then one player dies.
That's usually how a game of Hearthstone works.
Yeah, but not in that way. This is why I can't be a competitive Hearthstone player.
Yes, that's why.
That would tilt me off the face of the earth. I'm like, I'm in this game. I'm in this game, fighting back and forth. Then I'm just like, wait, all right, I'm dead.
Fair enough.
Wait, those are how my ladder games go.
Yeah, well, that's how every game of Hearthstone goes, TJ. 1 player dies at the end after you've played your cards.
Spoiler alert.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have game number 3 between Frozen and StrifeCrow. Don't go anywhere.
One night, I was called on to scry. But what is this symbol I spy? It's my own crystal ball. Yes, I'll answer the call. And the others will come by and by. That's right. We be calling a team in. The masters of plotting and scheming. By this candle a-glowing, I surely be knowing whose gold will be once more a-gleaming.
My name is Patra Cadness, and my Battle.net tag is Patra. Being in Grandmasters means a whole lot to me, and I feel like I've realized it more now actually being here and seeing everything that's happened. I'm looking forward to, of course, facing all the players because I feel like it's a good experience for me to grow as a player. I do think that, yeah, I'm one of the weakest players in this tournament. Like, I would say I'm an underdog. I just want to represent my country very well, and I want to represent, you know, anybody else basically supporting me. I just hope I do a good job. I have goals for different things. Like, I have goals for my social media, trying to get like this amount of followers by the end of the year. And for Hearthstone, I'd love to not be last in GMs. I want to stick around as long as I can. I just want to show everybody that I love the game so much, and I hope that the audience is happy with all the players that Blizzard has selected, and I hope they enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to StrifeCro versus Frozen, our 4th match here at Super Sunday for the Hearthstone Grandmasters. If you guys have found TJ Sanity anywhere running around the streets of Burbank, California, can you please let us know so that we can get it back? Because I think TJ is off the rails at this point.
Please. I
He's
beg
cracked.
you. I beg you.
He stays here casting 10 hours of Warrior matches, and then he has to go home and raise a family.
Find my sanity and bring it home.
TJ's been pulling some late hours and shifts. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. All right, coming up next, our game 3. They're staying on the same decks. Frozen on the tertiary, StrifeCro on the tertiary. We got the Karen Bloodhoof, Grom Hellscream, Ysera, and the Acolytes. He has removed his Warpath, his Weapons Project, his Shield Blocks, and his Dynamatic. Frozen, without his Eternium Rovers, without his Warpath, without his Dynamatic and Super Collider, has the Karen, the Azalina, which didn't come to play last game, and the Sephorian Bombers and the Harrison Jones.
Yeah.
Definitely something to consider is the Azalina of like whether or not that changed the dynamic of this game. Maybe the Azalina will give Frozen that late game advantage.
Yeah, he didn't even draw it last game, and I feel like Frozen's game plan was solid last game. He's got more bomb cards. He's got the double Sephorian Bomber as well, so he has more ability to be aggressive, and he was. But a couple of things kind of led to his downfall. One, StrifeCro was able to play Elysiana safely with like 3 or 4 bombs left in his deck at 7 life, off the back of a brawl that kind of went his way. And Frozen this game kind of needs to do the same thing, but hope that StrifeCro doesn't hit as many defensive tools, like 4 Omega Devastators. I think that Frozen just can't let that last game play into his head too much and think like, oh, I can't go for that game plan because I lost, because his game plan was solid. It just didn't pan out in the end because StrifeCro won the brawl, had too many defensive tools, and had too many bombs at the bottom of his deck. So I like to see him just sticking to his game plan.
I agree.
Just do it all over again for the next 45 minutes.
Sure, I mean, being able to get as much damage as possible with those early game bombs. And I like the trade there from Frozen, recognizing that he can keep this 1-1 around and squeeze in damage over time. And he also makes it better against Dynamatic. Oh, this is actually a really good trade from Frozen.
It's incredible.
That was something that I feel like most people would just like go 3 damage to the face, like, oh yeah, more damage to the face in this matchup. But that small little thing means that the Sephorian Bomber has a chance to survive. And StrifeCro doesn't have that clean Dynamatic. He has to Militia Commander it down, and then, well, I mean, that's kind of what Frozen wants.
Yeah, he floats a mana to do so, plays inefficiently. So Dynamatic is so good, and I think it was it Dog yesterday? I can't remember which player it was in their winter interview said that keeping 2 Dynamatics in your secondary list or in your secondary or tertiary list, whatever your anti-warrior list is actually really good. It's something that a lot of people cut, including both of these players cut a Dynamatic. But because so many players tech in Sephorian Bomber, Dynamatic is the best card to answer Sephorian Bomber, because it's not a mech. So Frozen, good recognition in that regard, and now gets to play this Omega Devastator for tempo. And again, Dynamatic is stranded, so StrifeCro has to find an alternative way to get rid of it, and currently he just doesn't have one.
Right, and it's thanks to that trade that Frozen made on turn 3 with the turn 4 rather with the Elec. Nicely done. Now, what can StrifeCro do in response? Looks like he can just build up the board back in his favor slowly over time. He does have some quality stuff, and he has Dr. Boom Mad Genius. This is the Militia Commander Clockwork Goblin opportunity, and then Frozen has Dynamatic even as a possibility too.
Yeah, one thing is Frozen's running out of gas. The ideal card for him to pick up right now would be Blastmaster Boom. Wouldn't say no to a Dr. Boom Mad Genius as well, but Blastmaster Boom, with how aggressive his game plan has been.
I mean, if StrifeCro ends up going for, Wrench Caliber, then Frozen can shut it down with Harrison Jones and keep the pressure going. But this is still good damage, and if I'm on Frozen's side, I'm feeling pretty good, even though I'm running out of resources here.
Yeah, and a forced Ziliax this early, even though it'd be tough for Frozen to deal with, is not too bad. As long as he doesn't fall behind on board with with less resources, that gives him an advantage in the late game because StrifeCro doesn't have that big swing ability to gain the life back, and Frozen can operate under a more assured game plan that the bomb damage that he does get is going to stick.
Ziliax is a pretty big punish, though. I mean,
it is a big punish.
He doesn't have the way to deal with it right now.
I'm trying to look at the silver lining behind the Ziliax. Well, not trading, but also like just Ziliax in general. Oh!
Mamma mia.
Good day, sir.
That was such a big draw for Frozen.
And again, StrifeCro, no way to deal with this. Needs Shield Slam. Warpath, not quite enough. He can Warpath twice, Wrench Caliber.
Yeah. But then he's taking 6 damage.
Light the fuses!
He's accepting the 6 damage and says, I'm just going to develop into your Clockwork Goblin. Bomb being drawn.
Ugh.
Frozen's best tempo play is an Elysiana. It's a 7/7. That is not good.
Ah. But Elastan isn't good.
If he's able to control the outcome to have aggressive cards only being drawn, then yes. But I still would rather just take the bombs that are in my deck that I can plant into StrifeCros. Maybe he just Dynamatics and pressures that way.
I mean, he would. Yeah, he could. I mean, there's a lot of bombs in StrifeCro's deck, so it would help him get to the bombs quicker.
Alternatively, he can just play Harrison Jones as a 5/4 and go face. I think that might be the best hybrid option here.
Yeah, he's out of time for Elysiana now, so it's not an option. Not that that was ever really an option, but if he played Elysiana now, he'd just get 10 random cards in his deck.
Oh, I forgot that. You're just making him draw bombs. I mean, there's actually not that many bombs left in StrifeCro's deck. But still, put him down to 11. It's a good start. StrifeCro picks up non-impactful cards. He picks up Wrench Caliber, which he doesn't need. Cairn, which doesn't do anything on the board immediately. And Omega Assembly. So that card draw wasn't actually that amazing, but the important thing is the Shield Slam. The Shield Slam doesn't kill everything, though.
I mean, he could just Microbots here.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't mind giving giving life to Frozen when he's at full. Frozen has an opportunity with a Mega Assembly to press in. It's a good reload opportunity. I think the Mega Assembly is better.
Yeah.
Bulldozer.
Whoa. Doesn't have Rush.
Oh, you're right.
Unfortunately.
In that case.
You get an Acolyte Warpath, try and accelerate. Hit the NOS.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting situation. Frozen can ease up on the gas and just try to be more value-oriented with resources, or he can just keep pressing in. Like, maybe just, like, what if you do just plop a Bulldozer? I guess you're very vulnerable to the Omega Destroyer.
Speak to me.
Frozen wants to get the card draws a Brawl and a Clockwork Goblin, so another opportunity to shuffle in a bomb. StrifeCro. It's finally his time to strike back. He's taking enough damage, but Frozen lost momentum, hasn't developed big. What can he do in return? Doesn't have that many bombs shuffled in. Looks like he's going to prioritize care.
Rule the board.
He doesn't have any life gain, though. Ziliak's gone.
Right, he needs Blast Shield to come out.
Blastmaster
Gets it.
Is there 2 bombs? 3 bombs? Based on the card draw, I think there's 3. No, it doesn't have rush.
Yeah, the lack of rush on the boom bots definitely stings.
Yeah, it is 3.
3 bombs.
Woo! Starting to heat up a little bit.
Bomb drawn. It's not good for StrifeCro. We used a shield slam as well already. These boom bots are so fearsome. Town Crier would draw Militia Commander. Oh, he doesn't have a Militia Commander. I apologize. He's already used both. He's just trying to improve his chances of surviving the boom bot onslaught. Omega Assembly.
Now can Blast Shield and Warpath?
Oh.
Oh. Oh. 3 to face. 4 to face.
Oh
4 to
my
face.
gosh.
Those boom bots were incredible.
What the heck?
And he could shuffle 2 more in.
Wrench Caliber with Clockwork Goblin and like, yeah, that's just 2 more bombs.
He has a bomb out, and now there's going to be at least 5 bombs in the deck.
5 out of 12, a little under 50%.
He's going for it. Frozen can win the game right here.
Yeah, it's a good amount of time that you win. And StrifeCro, can he survive? He fades it for 1 turn. The Mega Devastator comes to hand.
But he has no way to gain life.
But he can destroy it with Elysiana.
But then he can't gain life. The Wrench Caliber kills him. So he has to Harrison. And then he dies to a bomb. But he doesn't have a choice. Ah!
He is on borrowed time.
He needs his next hero power to be a Blast Shield and fade a bomb.
Yeah, and Frozen to not draw any way to damage him for 3. If he draws his own Dr. Boom, for example, it'd be okay. He doesn't get the Blast Shield. Frozen could brawl this if he wants to destroy some of the board. Shield Slam for 1. Brawl. I'll make a Devastator, whatever comes out. Threaten to kill again.
Oh, man.
StrifeCro's on a 5 out of 11 to die.
There might even be 6. I think it's 5.
Over 50% chance for StrifeCro to lose here.
Oh, jeez.
And he needs more life gain.
Oh, jeez.
No bomb!
Where are they? But again, he
Wait.
has to clear this minion, and he can't gain life.
He can get a Ziliax off the delivery drone.
Or a... no, he can't get Vicious Scrap Hound. He doesn't have any magnetics. Vicious Scrap Hound would just get him up to 5, which he would die to a bomb still.
This would be a good time for a master plan.
Is there a possibility that, like, he plays Blastmaster Boom in retaliation? Ugh! Those are awful choices here. Mega Devastator. Wrench Caliber right back. He's going to try to see if he can pressure Frozen, maybe fade another draw.
Oh, boy.
But at this point, the odds are strongly favoring Frozen. But that's all they are. They're odds. They're not guarantees. Harrison Jones.
Looking for Wrench Caliber.
C4 with bar. One more bomb.
More than half his deck is bombs.
And that's
Nailed
it.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Sigh of relief from Frozen, saying, how many turns can you keep dodging it? And it was a valiant effort from StrifeCro to evade the landmines.
Yeah.
But it turns out the victory goes to Frozen. And even if you get to the final mine, if you explode, it's game over in a match of Minesweeper.
That's right. And that's what it comes down to.
That's right.
A game of Minesweeper. And the important part there is Frozen gave himself the 1-0 lead, took kind of the even mirror matchup, and I feel like his tertiary deck is favored over Strife Crows because it gives him the option of that aggressive game plan. And he went for the same thing 2 games in a row. Like, nothing changed with how Frozen was playing. It's just he had kind of like better timing on his bombs, was able to find refill when he needed it. So he like spent all his resources. He has Acolyte of Pain and Azalina to kind of give him that reload. And that's another reason why you can play aggressively. It worked the same way for Dog. You can kind of empty your hand and then say, okay, well, I played aggressively, I'm out of stuff. Azalina, refill with your opponent's hand, because they're the ones that are forced to be reactive. And the aggressive game plan did work out in game number 2 because he was able to get that sick Blastmaster Boom. Hell of a card.
Heck of a card indeed. Frozen is joined on the line. Frozen, you there?
Hey, what's up?
All right, I'm just going to step out and let TJ do this interview.
Now that's what I call aggression.
Nicely done, man. So how is that series for you on your end?
I mean, it's Warrior Mirrors. It's so swingy. Like, every small thing can make a huge difference, and there's a lot of, like, percent chance odds. And by the way, like, game 2 at the end, I think I had, like, a 27% chance of bombing him out. And I thought that was the best thing.
Yep.
Like, you can play the matchup very differently. Sorry to interrupt, but first game I had like a different type of hand. Like, when you have Dr. Boom, you can play more passive. I mean, the words aggressive and passive can be used, obviously, but I think what really determines some hands is that when you have the Alex, your bombs become more efficient. So that's why you want to be more aggressive. And when you don't have the Alex, and you don't play the minions on curve, they just die to your opponent's removal. Then you don't have board, and then your opponent can just keep developing onto you, and you have nothing to do. Rather, you should play your minions like more reactively and clear your opponent's board, because you have less damage than them, and your minions actually get more efficient traits by rushing into your opponent's minions.
Right. Yep. Because then it becomes just giant removal spells with all the minions. So.
Yep.
Did you feel like the deck list differences? Like, you had Azalina, and you were taking out some of their cards. Do you feel like that made a difference at all? Even though it didn't come up in the actual games, did that result in you playing a specific way?
Okay. So what Azalina does is that it didn't show in game 2, but it made me a really favorite in the sense where I can dump my cards and my opponent really can't. Or like, if he does dump his cards, it becomes really awkward, because if I dump my cards, I can play. I know I can play Azalina first, and my opponent has to follow up with Azalina. And on the trend they play Azalina, I can always connect with my Azalina and push damage, right? So because if they don't play Azalina, in response I could copy their Azalina with, right, not Azalina, Elysiana. I got confused.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Copy my opponent's Elysiana with my Azalina. So I'll have 20 cards in fatigue, so I'll almost always win the super long game. So whenever I play Azalina, my opponent has to play Azalina in response. And I can put a bunch of bombs in my opponent's deck to force them to play Azalina early. And if they play Azalina early, that means they lose fatigue as well.
Sorry, you just keep saying Azalina. I know what you mean, though.
He's just saying Elysiana really fast.
Yes. Tongue twisters. I like it. Cool. So 3 weeks into Grandmasters, we've been asking these questions to lots of the people in the interview. How is your feeling? Because this is almost at the halfway point of GM. Where do you feel like your results are sitting? And are you kind of like happy or are you disappointed? I just want to get your mindset on it.
I'm actually a little bit disappointed. I think I had like my first week, I think I had 2 like 90% plus matchups. And then second week, I think I had like a 55 and then like an 80. And then this week, I had a 80%, I think, versus my first opponent, and then versus Strife Crow. It's I think he's actually the first opponent that I'm slightly unfavored against, because his deck is actually pretty good in the mirror. But I think his tertiary deck was teched very poorly, because Grommash and Ysera becomes too slow once both people are Dr. Booming, because you can't hero power and play Ysera, and that becomes a huge problem because your hero power is so good, and then you can't really play Grom with something else, and he's not a mech, so it's very easy he's removed. So you rather have like a low curve pressure card like C4M Bomber.
Interesting. Okay, cool. You said you were slightly disappointed. Is that you expected to do even better? Because I mean, you're in contention for first place right now in your division.
I definitely think that mathematically I should be slightly better, but obviously there's some variance, and I think I was unfortunate sometimes, but sometimes fortunate. So it kind of balances out.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, healthy way to look at it. Can't always fall your way.
Yeah.
TJ, any questions for Frozen here?
Yeah, you and Dog always talk about kind of how you value like theory crafting and talking about the game more so than like actual like just jamming game after game after game of practice. Have you guys entered the think tank yet for the changes that are coming next week?
No, but hearing it here first, Pogo Rogue Tier 1.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Crushing everything. I think the interaction between Witchwood Piper guaranteeing the Pogo Hopper instead of it being a 2-drop and you have to run all the 2-drops is going to make a huge difference.
Oh, all right. Dropping his secret tech already. Or the mind games begin, TJ, and he's trying to bait people into the Pogo
Everybody's
Rogue.
going to bring Pogo Rogue
he's
next
just gonna,
week.
like, face hunter them. It'll be really funny. All right, well, I love hearing your insight. Thank you so much, Frozen. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week for more Grandmasters.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm curious on how the standings are shaping up because I think Frozen with this improves to a 4-2, but more importantly, StrifeCo falls to 4-2, and now that Frozen has the head-to-head is the tiebreaker, so he's in at worst second place, I believe, to Eddie. But look at that three-way tie for the first place spot, and the most important takeaway is that these are the three players in the playoffs right now from Division A.
Division A is incredibly competitive. With PNC taking a win today as well, there's only like a 2 full game separation between like first and last place,
So
4-2 versus 2-4. So next week we could be in a situation where like every player, depending on matchups, every player's 4-4, which is kind of insane if you think about it. Now it's not going to match up that way because the 4-2 players would have to play against the 2-4 players, and all the 3-3 players would have to play against each other. But just the fact that that would be a possibility is kind of crazy, and just goes to show how even that division is right now.
Yeah, for now, but I mean, it's just a few games again. I mean, 6 best-of-3s isn't going to determine the entire field, but we're going to go for 7 weeks, and then the week number 8 will be playoffs, and the story will continue from there. So that's it for our 4th match of the day. Coming up next, we got Purple versus Now Get Down. If you guys are Warrior Mirror lovers, we got one more for today, and then we're going to finish off with Monsanto versus Just Saying in a Rogue versus Rogue. Don't go anywhere. TJ and I will be back right after this intermission.